Hey, welcome in, Huntsville. Another wonderful good morning to you. Thanks for waking up with us. What do you love about Huntsville? What makes this a great place to be?
Everyone here is very genuine and very kind and friendly. You never hesitate to speak up and say hello or good morning or just acknowledge the person walking by.
The thing that I love most about Huntsville, I love the peace that Huntsville brings. I love the peace that it gives me.
I feel accepted and part of the town and like I belong here.
Huntsville is where my lovely wife lived when I met her, so I moved here. So I'm pretty thankful for her.
All right.
We're bucking for you in Huntsville, Texas. Hello, I'm Billy Cobbin, the Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home.
Hey, it's Kaye Boehning with Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools.
Good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning.
Hey, I'm Karen.
I'm Toy. And I'm Denise.
And from all of us at Walker County Federal Credit Union, good morning, Huntsville.
Good morning,
Good
Huntsville.
morning.
Guten Tag. What is it? Is it in German? Guten Tag?
Guten Tag.
Guten Tag. We need to learn how to speak those languages because it's just the inflection is a Guten Tag. It's a lot better. So
It's a very guttural language.
is that man, is Dr. Crimm jamming out over there to the show?
I think she was.
Yeah, I heard the jam coming through Dr. Crimm's
Well,
phone.
She brought the party bus inside.
Hey, we want to welcome you in. Check out the shades this morning. We're looking cool.
We are styling Tomorrow's Promise sunshades.
What was that movie? You know what? One thing I need to make sure of that we just need to test. We are live. Audio's working. Had to make sure.
Always good.
What was it? The Blues Brothers? You remember that show? The Blues Brothers?
I do.
Here, let's do a quick pose. Y'all ready? Wait, we'll look at this camera in the middle. Ready? And then Rick, kind of throw up the peace sign. You ready, Rick? Well, you make like a. There you go. All right. Welcome in as we get rolling here. The Tomorrow's Promise shades. There's nothing shady about this show, by the way.
Or Tomorrow's Promise.
Or Tomorrow's Promise.
Well, except the shades.
Except the shades.
They are shady.
Anytime someone says, man, that's shady, you remember this show and you think about these glasses and all is well in the world. So,
Yeah.
Well, hey, we want to welcome you in as we get rolling here on this wonderful Wednesday, June the 5th, as we continue on. We're going to have a great show lined up today. Big shout out, as always, to our friend
I can see.
Paul. Wow, yeah, it got bright really quick. Big shout out to our friend Paul Oley of the Gallery. Rick?
Paul, we love you, man.
We really do.
We honestly really do. You know, this isn't what do you call it, like satire? Is that what people say about something? Like is that the right word? Like
Satire?
Like satire. It's not like a satire thing.
It's not a satire.
Sarcastic.
Sarcastic. It's nothing like that.
Right, it's sincere.
Yeah, it's very sincere, Paul. We love you. Paul of the Gallery, we wouldn't be here without him and his generous support allowing us to utilize this space. We appreciate Paul very much. And for all your custom framing, photography, and more, please visit our good friend Paul Oley at the Gallery, located 1201 University. Big shout out as well to Elliott's Jewelers, Elliott Herzlich, online at elliottjewelers.com for that perfect diamond ring.
And Elliot's a great guy, too. Mm-hmm. If you've never met him, I highly encourage you to.
wonderful, wonderful
He's a sweetheart.
man. And he helps out and gives so much back to the community. Elliott'sJewelers.com. And, of course, we could not be here and promote the good and promote great folks like Dr. Carolina Castillo Crimm, going to be joining us a little bit later on the show. We wouldn't be able to promote the good in this community without our foundation sponsors. And on Wednesday, it is our friends at Tomorrow's Promise Montessori School. Kaye, I wanted to get started with something really important. Congratulations. You were listed in the SBDC National Magazine. So
Yes.
congratulations.
Yes,
I know you don't like talking about yourself, but I'm going to throw it at you.
Oh, she does.
What, I know Rhonda had sent that, and it was really exciting to see that. Just what went through your mind when you saw that write-up about you and Tomorrow's Promise there in the National Magazine?
Shock. I'm still kind of in shock because,
Watch this real quick. Hold on.
you know,
There you go. Okay.
child care centers are not normally recognized for anything. People just think, oh, you drop your child off and that's it.
And you expect them back in one piece.
Yeah. And people, say daycare and, like doggy daycare and adult daycare, you don't expect them to learn anything. So, we teach them at this school. And so daycare is kind of not a very, what's the word I'm looking for? Nice term to call it.
Yeah.
Because it implies we're not doing anything except bringing the children home alive. And that's not what we want to do. That's not why I started the school. And so to actually have a page in a national magazine promoting small businesses is just wonderful.
Rhonda sent that to
yeah.
me, and I read the article, and I sent it back and said, thank you very much.
Yeah. Oh, I think
So-
it speaks to the testament, Kaye. And again, I know you don't like talking, making it about you, and I know that it's about everyone involved with you. But it's truly God gives us talents and different visions and dreams for a reason. I don't say it in a weird way. I'm saying He puts things in our heart for a reason that we want to do in life. And this became a passion of yours that I truly believe, and you believe as well.
It's all been His idea.
All God inspired, and I just love the fact that when you are in what I call the zone, and what I mean by the zone is whenever you know that this is where God has called you at this moment, that great things happen in your life, and look at how the Lord has blessed not just you but the school, and then through that, because of you, I look at it like this, Kaye. I even take it a step further. I go up one to your dad because I know your dad instilled all these things in you, and I look from your dad to you through the school all the way down to my little children. It's so neat to see the inner workings of how things in life work. And that's why relationships are so important, and why it's so important to speak good over people, because look at what it's done. It's impacted my children. It's impacted hundreds and thousands of other children. And then not only that, but the inspiration for the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, which we got the book Tad Dad or something last night. It was a frog book. I read that one. It's really Caden's, but I read it to Braylon. It's pretty cool. And we just thank you so much, Kaye, for your commitment to not just this community, but your commitment to children. And I love what you said earlier, and I thought about this because my ADD was kicking in. When you said, we just don't want your children to come back alive. That's not what, and I agree. I'm very careful now. Whenever I address Tomorrow's Promise, I don't say my child goes to a daycare. I say my child, and I don't say my kid. I've gotten better at that because a kid is the offspring of a goat.
Right.
You taught me that. But
It's
I say
true.
my children go to an amazing child care educational facility. That's the way that I kind of word it. And it's true. But when you said we don't want the children just to, in a daycare, they are just alive. Here's the difference with you guys. Yes, they're alive, obviously, but they come back full of life. And
Ooh, I like that.
That's what Braylon is still obsessed with this garden thing, and it's because of Tomorrow's Promise. Somehow y'all do such hands-on stuff and talk about all these things that she is so obsessed with flowers and gardens now. And I don't say this to knock or belittle any other parent or anything, but my children don't need the screens, and I love that. I love the fact that it's okay to let your child scream and kick and fuss in the car, because guess what? They always will calm down. And all you have to do is say, "Oh, sweetheart, look at the horse over there." And then all of a sudden, she's fixated on the horses outside.
Kaye still does that to me.
Yeah. I saw you kicking and screaming in the van, and then Kaye turned and said, "Rick, look, squirrel."
Yeah.
So,
and it worked.
Funny story on that, by the way. Braylon was talking to us yesterday. We went on a golf cart ride. And Braylon was talking to us, and literally all of a sudden she goes, "Daddy, squirrel," just out of nowhere. And I was like, "You have the ADD brain." So, but I did want to lead with that, Kaye, and just say thank you for your commitment. And when you're in that zone where you know that you know that you know this is where the Lord has called you, I also believe that the best is always yet to come. And maybe that's the inspiration this morning as we get started here, that you may be going through something pretty tough this morning, and many of you know, and I appreciate. We had so many calls last night and text messages, and I didn't want to put anything on social media until all of our family knew. But we lost my daddy yesterday at around lunchtime, and it like didn't hit me for the first hour. So when my mom called me, I mean it was pretty rough, but then I was by myself, and there needs to be a time of mourning, obviously. And, I had I told Bridget, I was like, do not turn on the living room camera for a couple hours yesterday afternoon. But this is what I want to say. This is the inspiration this morning, that a lot of times if we've lost somebody close, and I don't say this in a negative way, so please don't take it that way, but I want to encourage people this morning. If there's joy knowing that my dad was a believer. Mm-hmm. And yes, it hurts and it's painful, but that's the joy in having a relationship with the Lord, is we know that this earth is extremely temporary. And you want to hold on to all the good memories and all the wonderful things that you got to do with your loved ones in life. But the joy is when you're a believer, and when that person is a believer that you've lost, that you know that that this is temporary. And I want you to think about this morning. Maybe if you're not a believer, I encourage you this morning just to pray, even if you're not a believer. And I believe that God will always show up. And just say a prayer and say, "Lord, reveal yourself to me somehow, some way." And I guarantee he's going to show up. But especially for those that are believers, you think about this morning, the most joyful time that you've ever had, the happiest day that you ever had in your life. And then magnify that times infinity. Can you even fathom infinity? That's the joy that we're going to have when we depart this earth and go to heaven to be with the Lord. And that's the one thing that during so much tragedy and so much sorrow that you can find joy. And the Bible speaks of it. The joy comes in the morning. You have time to weep through the night, but then the joy comes in the morning. And that's the encouragement this morning that I want to give you, is when you have that relationship with the Lord, joy will always come. And we prayed over my dad Sunday. Honestly, I didn't expect him to make a full recovery. He's been in nursing facilities the past 5 years, and but he kind of had that crusty attitude to him, in a good way, and he didn't take much from anybody. I'll put it that way. And he told it how it was.
I was saying you could probably dish it out too.
Yeah, and it's funny because my dad would always say, he would joke around, and and I'd joke around back with him, and he'd always say, "Son, if you can dish it out, you better be able to take it as well." That was always what he told me.
I've heard that a time or two.
But through all of that, it's tough and it's painful. But I know that the joy is there, and yes, it's going to be a sad time, and it is a sad time, but it's also a joyful time. And so that's the encouragement I want to have this morning for all of you, is to know that joy will always come in the morning, and the true joy that I believe. And some people live their whole life, and then finally in that last moment they realize, they said, "Oh, I didn't get it until now." And praise God for it. It's that joy of knowing. And some people make that decision. My dad made the decision a long time ago, but some people make that decision, and they're blessed to have the opportunity right before they pass to say, "I accept the Lord as my Savior." And then they're like, "Aha, that was it. I wish I would have did that sooner in life."
Yeah.
And so this morning may be the morning for you, that you've been waiting and you've been needing to hear something. I'm not getting on a preaching story this morning, but I'm telling you, this morning may be the morning that you said, "You know what? I've been thinking about this long enough," and just pray the prayer. And if you need to know what that prayer is, reach out to us here, and we can send that to you. But that's what's going to get us through this. That's the only thing as a believer, that's the only thing that's going to get us through this.
Something somebody said that really helped me was, you have your number of days that you spent with him, but think of the days that you're going to spend in eternity with him. That's going to far outweigh the number of days you had here.
Yeah, that's really good, Kaye. I never heard it like that before. I love that. So, well, that's just kind of what I wanted to share. And I wanted to honor my dad. Someone had said, "Man, are you still going to have the show?" I said, "Absolutely," because my dad always said the show goes on. And so and yes, I'm hurting. It's not easy. I don't want to sit here and pretend like nothing happened, but I also know that my dad would want me to be full of joy too. And so we're still having the show, still going to have Raise a Hope tomorrow. So we want folks to come out to the HEB parking lot from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. as we want to be have this community come together and be a blessing to so many folks here. And so we'll talk more about that on the end of the show. But yeah, Dad always said the show goes on, and so the show will go on. Next week, though, we will take we're going to leave. Bridget and I are going to leave on Friday morning, and then we're going to head to Georgetown, be with my mom, and then next week, probably towards the end of next week, my mom hasn't got a hold of the folks yet. They haven't got it all scheduled out yet, but probably have a visitation Thursday and a service Friday morning. That's kind of the game plan right now. So, but yeah, that's it's despite everything that you could think, and it's rainy and it's dreary outside. I've always said it like this so many times, Kaye, on this show too, that the biggest miracle that I think is the fact that we have life and that we're breathing. That is a miracle in itself. And so maybe today you're hurting, you're struggling, you're feeling down, you're broken. Hold on to that one piece of hope today that you have a breath and that you're alive. No matter what, that is the biggest miracle that you can have through all of that. And it's hard to see. You know how it is when you get in the middle of something. Sometimes you get in your own world, right? And I was thinking about all that yesterday, and I said, you know what, I can get upset and I can, be emotional, which is good. It's good to go through that process. But I also said, you know what, I was so blessed because I got to spend a lot of time with my dad, and he didn't have to suffer with ever not knowing things, and he could still, he was able to still see and hear and communicate, and that's why we really thought when he had this double pneumonia mess, and he had been undergoing chemo treatments for a little bit of cancer. We thought, man, my dad's tough. He'll get it. He'll be okay with that. And just wasn't what God wanted for him. And the last thing that I want to say is Sunday we all gathered around and prayed over him, and I prayed for healing. And we all just circled my dad. My dad held our hands as well, and my dad was joking with us and with the children. He got to see Kaden, and he loved that. But we were just praying. We said, Lord, we pray and believe for healing. And somebody said, be careful about praying like that because, people don't get healed, you get discouraged. And I said, no, that's the problem, is that sometimes God chooses not to heal people on this earth. The ultimate healing comes in heaven. And so my dad got his healing yesterday around lunchtime. So that's the encouragement I wanted to give all of you this morning. So,
well, and I'd like to encourage everybody to come out to Raise of Hope tomorrow and make a special donation in memory of your dad.
Yeah, that would be wonderful, Kaye.
I think I'll do that.
Well, come on, man.
At some point.
I appreciate that, Kaye. That's a really good idea. And I was going to say too, there's one less person watching this morning. 'Cause my dad always not every single morning, but a lot of mornings he'd tune in and comment.
Oh, he's watching.
So he's watching from above now.
He's got a better view now.
Yeah. Well, I don't know if you look kind of top down from Rick. It's not.
Hey,
the views. You got to kind of watch out. But hey, Rick, me too, man.
There you go with the excuses again.
Kyle too.
We're also going to talk about the excuse-driven life coming up a little bit later.
Yeah.
We have a special segment where Kaye's going to give us different scenarios, and Rick and I are going to give her excuses. So you want to stay tuned for that. So. But we'll continue on. Dr. Crimm from Historic Tours of Texas is in the house today. We're so excited to have her. She got up here early, and so she's been waiting for a hot minute. We're going to have Dr. Crimm in a minute give us some updates on how her wonderful business is doing and the impact she's making on our community and so much more. So we got a great show lined up. Stay tuned in. Let us know that you're out there as well, please. Send comments this morning. Let us know how you're doing. Do us a huge favor. Hit the like button, hit share, and so we can continue to share the good happening here in Huntsville, Texas. We'll take a quick break, and before we do, keyword is hope, along with your name. Raise a Hope is why we picked hope this week, and Raise of Hope.
And it has another meaning now, too.
It does, yeah. So hope for tomorrow. Hope for tomorrow's promise.
That's right.
So keyword is hope, along with your name. Text that in on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line. That number 936-339-0139. Again, 936-339-0139 is the number. I've got another Cafe Texan gift card. Oh, you know what? No, we're not. No, hold up. We're not doing that today. Rick, hold on. We got a better prize today. Rick, what do you got for us today? Man, this is...
I have a large container of freeze-dried Skittles.
Yeah, buddy,
Actually,
there you go.
Our name is Zittles.
And you know what? Nothing on Cafe Texan, but the value of this is more than the Cafe Texan gift card.
Yep.
That's how good these things are. So we're going to toss in some 0 Degree freeze-dried Skittles today.
Okay.
And if you've never had those things, you are missing out. They are happy little nuggets of joy.
Nuggets of joy. We could call them nuggets of hope.
Yeah, nuggets of hope. So there you go. A little hope. You could pick it. You know, you have some rocks and call them little nuggets of hope. And if somebody's upset, you just throw it at them. And then, what are you throwing rock? Well, I'm throwing hope at you, man. Yeah. So
A little hope.
I hope you quit.
Right between the eyes, right?
Right, there was a broadcaster that used to go right between the eyes. So there you go. We're giving away some 0 Degree freeze-dried Skittles. These are wonderful, by the way. So if you're a candy fan, if you're not, and you win them, then give them to somebody who is. All you got to do is text in the keyword HOPE along with your name on the 0 Degree Creations phone and text line 936-339-0139. As always, our wonderful Wednesdays brought to you by Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. Over 25 years of educational excellence here in our community. We'll take a quick break. Got to listen to your national news. Dr. Crimm hanging out with us when we come back. It's your show. This is Good Morning Huntsville.
USA News, I'm Tim Berg. The jury in Hunter Biden's gun trial in Delaware is seeing his laptop as evidence. The president's son is accused of illegally buying and possessing a gun while being addicted to drugs in 2018. An FBI witness explained on the stand how prosecutors obtained evidence of Hunter Biden's drug use on the laptop. The computer, which proved to be true, was a focal point of the 2020 election, although then candidate Biden maintained the laptop was fake and part of Russian election interference. President Biden is announcing an executive order Tuesday that will close asylum at the nation's southern border if the daily average of illegal immigrant encounters reaches 2,500, pausing entries until the average returns below 1,500. The president providing details on the order.
The Department of Homeland Security has proposed new rules to allow federal law enforcement to more quickly remove asylum seekers that have criminal convictions and remove them from the United States.
Arkansas Republican Senator Tom Cotton reacts to the executive order on Fox News, saying he's not satisfied with it.
It's not even closing the barn door. Joe Biden is now saying to the cartels and to potential terrorists that as long as there's not more than 75,000 illegal aliens crossing our border a month, then you're still welcome to come. The only acceptable number of illegal immigrants crossing our border at any period is 0.
It's an early start to summer for some parts of California, Arizona, and southern Nevada, as all three states could see record-setting temperatures this week. On Wednesday, temperatures in Las Vegas may touch 109, while Phoenix could set a record of 110. The heat is expected to continue through the start of this weekend. This is USA News.
The inventor and CEO of MyPillow is always looking for ways to solve everyday problems. Have you ever picked up a towel set because it felt really soft in the store, but then when you go to use it, it's not very absorbent? It's basically a towel that's leaving you out to dry. That's why MyPillow has developed the MyPillow towels. Towels that work. I know, it's mind-blowing. Towels that actually dry you. The 6-piece towel set includes 2 bath towels, 2 hand towels, and 2 washcloths. They come in a variety of colors, and right now you can receive a 6-piece set for only $39.98 with promo code USA. Go to MyPillow.com right now and click on the radio listener special. MyPillow products come with a 10-year warranty and they have a 60-day money-back guarantee. To receive this amazing offer on the 6-piece set of MyPillow towels, just go to MyPillow.com. Click on the radio listener special and enter promo code USA or call 800-951-8175. That's MyPillow.com. Promo code USA.
Here we grow again. Tomorrow's Promise is excited to announce our third location to better serve the families of Walker County and surrounding areas. At Tomorrow's Promise, we are more than just childcare. We pride ourselves on partnering with parents and creating a place where every child is respected, loved, and nurtured in the highest quality environment. See what makes us the perfect fit for your child and their needs. Schedule a tour and learn more about Montessori.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tpms.live for more information. Education you can trust. This is Guardian Defense in Huntsville, Texas, a trusted family-owned and operated gun store and range in the heart of East Texas. Guardian Defense is your one-stop destination for Texas LTC, NRA basic pistol and rifle courses, pistol refresher training, as well as a wide selection of quality firearms and ammunition. At Guardian Defense, empowerment is within reach through their Texas DPS-approved license to carry classes. Certified instructors will guide you through every facet of firearm safety, conflict resolution, and the pertinent legal aspects. Book now to become proficient and responsible in handling a firearm with complete confidence. For the eager learners, the fundamentals of pistol and rifle usage await discovery in their comprehensive 8-hour NRA basic courses. You're invited to connect with Guardian Defense on Facebook and Instagram or give them a call at 936-293-0364. You can also visit them online at guardiandefensellc.com. Guardian Defense, your reliable partner in mastering firearm safety and acquiring quality firearms in the heart of Texas.
The Oak Ridge Disciple House is a faith-based 501c3 nonprofit Christian character building ministry helping men 18 and older who are suffering from drug and alcohol addictions. If you or someone you know needs help, there is light at the end of the tunnel, and that light can be found through the Oak Ridge Disciple House. For more information, visit oakridgedisciplehouse.com. All right, Huntsville, welcome back at it. Time now 7:58. 7:58. Time to celebrate. 7:58. Time to celebrate. I was gonna say 7:58. Time to lose some weight, man. Because brother, I'm back up about 250.
Or 7:58. You're almost late.
Oh, there you go. Okay, 7:58. Yeah, we're gonna come up. That's the whole thing. The rest of the show. It's 7:58. Something. Well, before we flip that camera on,
You've got so many things today that's going to be going on.
There's a lot. You know how it is. 72 degrees, overcast. How about 84% humidity? Boy, it's wonderful outside. Wind out of the northeast at 16, but gusting at 30 miles per hour. Rain is here. And is that a little bit of hail out there on the street? Or is that bubbles? Do you see that? No, look at those. Look at over there across the street. Yeah, I don't know what that is. Yeah, okay, it's the flowers. I'm so distracted this morning. 60% chance of rain. It'll dwindle down to 20. A high of 91 tomorrow. 93 and sunny for Rays of Hope. And we don't have her on camera yet because we were just waiting. We wanted to get the weather out of the way. But here we go in 3, 2. I'm going to go right to her. Watch this. You ready for this? 3, 2, 1. There she is, Dr. Crimm. What a joy to have you on this morning.
Savannah White.
Yeah, welcome
Thank
in.
Thank you.
Welcome in, Dr. Crimm.
What a pleasure to be with both of you. This is wonderful.
I'm going to do one
Please.
thing here.
Yes.
My little fuzzy was about to pop off. That's my fault. I didn't check the fuzzy.
Thank you.
That's the encouragement this morning. Once you
check
get
your fuzzies.
check your fuzzy. You know?
Check your fuzzies.
Kay's like, I don't even know what that means. So.
I don't want to know what that is.
Don't ask.
Well, you get fuzzy on your knuckles and your elbows. That's what it is. Check your fuzzies when you wake up. Oh, goodness. Rick's going downhill. Welcome in. We thank you for being here this morning, 8 o'clock on the dot as we continue on. Dr. Crimm from Historic Tours of Texas, also a former professor, right?
Yes,
over at
sir.
Sam Houston State University. We just love getting to know you. You're one of my, I got to be careful saying this because there's so many good people in Huntsville. But Dr. Crimm, you're truly one of my most favorite people in our community. She's always smiling, always full of joy, and she's not the hug of Huntsville, but she is the second hug of Huntsville. Dr. Crimm will also come up and give you a hug. So
Were you known as that with your students when you were a professor?
Oh, yeah. Oh, absolutely.
Well, it's so good to have you this morning. We do have a surprise for you, by the way. We've already put in the call to TDCJ this morning. Dr. Crimm, I showed her this. She goes, what is that thing? Well, here's what it is. Two Toots is a first-time guest here on the show. You ready? There you go. Welcome in, Dr. Crimm. Now you're officially a part of Hello Huntsville.
All right.
So,
well, good.
Well, it's so good to have Dr. Crimm on. She's been in this community a long time and has had such an investment. And we love on Wednesdays because we talk a lot about education. You've had such an investment on so many people, young people, throughout your years as a professor at the university. And before we get started about historic tours of Texas, which we want to highlight and some great events that you have, can you give us a little rundown of the Dr. Crimm story? Do you mind?
No, absolutely. And that's one of the things that I absolutely love about being with this gang here. Rob and Kaye are just such a delight. And that's one of the things that I love about Huntsville. It makes it so inspirational to be here and to be with you all. Because certainly Rob is as an inspiration, as you all saw at the beginning of the program. And it made me realize that what I love best is sharing stories. Mm-hmm. The story of the historical stories of Huntsville. There's so many wonderful, wonderful stories. And that's one of the things that I enjoy. I realize that artists have to teach. Artists have to share. Writers have to share. Rob has to share. And so this is something that I feel that I have to share history. I have to share stories about some of the wonderful, wonderful people that were Sally Gibbs. My office is right there where Sally Gibbs used to have her home, her beautiful home. And I'm sorry they tore that magnificent home down. But she was such an inspiration. And for a woman in the 1880s and 1890s to be the president of a bank, and literally that when you look at the Gibbs Powell House and you look at the Gibbs Brothers building and then you look at the First National Bank, for a woman to run that bank for 34 years is to me so amazing. And that's the kind of stories that I love to tell, the successes, the wonderful, amazing. And that's one of the things about Kaye is that she certainly is one of the amazing. And that's why I love having Rob come back to town, because when we lost him, we thought, oh, no, we can't lose Rob. And we got him back. And so this is, to me, a wonderful, wonderful thing. And his inspiration this morning was truly, truly wonderful.
Well, Dr. Crimm, I love your story. And we have different. I'm so bad with words, though. I need to go to Tomorrow's Promise. I can learn moniker. We have different monikers for people in town. Would that be the right word? So Kaye is known as the hug of Huntsville. Tara Burnett's the heart of Huntsville. Emily O'Rear is the smile of Huntsville. Kyle Kreiner is the brisketeer of Huntsville.
Okay.
Carolyn Gibson is the grandmother of Huntsville. See, we've came up with all.
Okay, I'll be the stories.
Stories of Huntsville. You are the storyteller of Huntsville.
The stories of Huntsville, absolutely.
How did this journey start for you? What age did you realize you wanted to be in a story? And give us kind of that side of the story leading up to where you got to now. And we'll talk about where you're at now, but let us know kind of the early childhood and maybe what inspired you to be a historian.
Well, I was actually born and raised in Mexico City, Mexico. My mother was American, my father Mexican. And we lived there. And Mexico, of course, is so full of stories. It has such wonderful history and such wonderful stories. And so I guess from a very early age, I started reading history books. And then when my father passed away in 1963, we moved to the United States. And we lived in Key West, which is also another wonderful town with stories. And then Miami. And I got my bachelor's degree at the University of Miami, and then I taught at Winter Park High School. And of course, I had a few little episodes where I took a group of students up to St. Augustine, 2 bus loads, and one of the my intern was on one of the buses and I was on the other, and one of the football players stood up and kind of pressed her against the seat, and it just scared her to death. And so she stopped the bus and we had to change places. And it turns out the kids had gotten beer and gotten it on the buses.
Oh, man.
So I learned very early on that we had to be a little more careful about how we did these tours. But I continued to take the students on outings. We did archaeological studies, and for one of the students to suddenly find a little piece of a Indian arrowhead, and she said, "Is this really old?" And I said, "That's thousands of years old," and it was such an inspiration for her to be able to see something that was that old. And then we took a group of students to Europe, and we had one student that managed to lock himself in the second floor room. I don't know how he did it. And so he jumped out of the second floor story.
Oh, no.
And he was okay, but this is the kind of thing that happens when you take students on tours. And so do I continue to do the tours? Yes. And do we still have things that happen? Yes. We had one of my guests.
Your van has a pole in it, so that'll tell you something.
That's right. We had one of the guests that we were at one of the forts, and she decided we were in little golf carts, and she decided that the golf cart was going slow enough that she could just step out instead of asking them to stop the golf cart. But no, she stepped out and, of course, fell over backward onto her backpack, which had her computer in it, and wound up in the hospital. So the tours don't always wind out badly, but sometimes we have exciting episodes where we have a few little incidents, shall we say. But fortunately, we brought them all home alive, sort of like you all did. The students, as long as you bring them home alive, that's the main thing. And so after my bachelor's, I taught at Winter Park High School for 6 years, and then my husband moved to Naples, Florida. And so we built a house in Naples, Florida. And, of course, since I was the smallest one, my husband was a civil engineer, and he decided that we were going to build the house. And so he made me into the do I need glasses? Oh. He made me into the puttier, I guess you would call it. He wanted to cover each of the air conditioning tubes with tar.
Oh, yeah.
And so he put me up in the attic to cover each of the little segments with tar, except that the only problem was as I moved from rafter to rafter, I put my hand down, and then I was sitting in it, and then I was leaning into it, and pretty soon I was literally tar baby. I was covered in black tar, and it took a while to get it off. So we lived in Naples, but the only problem was there weren't any jobs teaching, and so I had to go into personnel. And so I worked in personnel for a while and enjoyed that, and still taught. Again, I couldn't get away from teaching. As you said, it's my God-given gift, and so I have to be the storyteller. And so we lived in Naples for a number of years after having built the house. And then I was offered a job to start a wind generator company in Texas.
Oh, cool.
So they moved me here to Houston. And so I started the import-export office in Houston, and then they moved me out to Sweetwater, which is rattlesnake country. And so I started working with the company there, and they lasted about a year.
You're talking Oklahoma? Sweetwater, Oklahoma?
No, Sweetwater, Texas.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. Sweetwater, out past Abilene.
Okay.
And so then they shut the company down, and I had to find a job. So I taught at the high school, but before that, the only job I could find was building barbed wire fence on the ranges of West Texas in January and February and March. And so when they say that there's nothing but a strand of barbed wire between Lubbock and the North Pole, I know, I put it there. And so I learned to pound posts and carry 50-pound rolls of barbed wire. And then finally a job came open at the high school, but it wasn't in history, of course, because I wasn't a football coach, and only football coaches teach history. And so I was able to get a job in biology, but I needed 21 hours in order to be certified to teach biology. And you can only take 7 hours at a university in a field. But the nice thing about Abilene is it has 3 universities. And
Sure
so
does,
I
yeah.
took I took courses at Abilene, at Christian, at McMurray, and at Hardin-Simmons, and got 7 and 7 and 7, and got my 21 hours in one summer. So that was exciting. But I taught biology, and of course, I had snakes get loose in the classroom. This is, after all, Sweetwater.
This is before snakes on a plane. It was snakes in the classroom.
It was snakes in the classroom, and the custodian refused to clean the classroom after that because she wasn't going to come in there where there were snakes. And I had a big cage that had hamsters and gerbils and mice, and I thought, this would be so cool. I couldn't figure out why the mice weren't having babies. Well, it turns out the hamsters were eating the baby mice.
Oh, man.
And, of course, with their natural elements, they were messing up the floor, and finally the principal came down and said, "You will clean up the." And I said, "Okay." So I cleaned the classroom. I had to clean it daily because when you have that many little animals, they do make a mess. So one of my students brought in. I took them out looking for their insect collection, and one of them brought her little hand back, and she opened her hand and she said, "What is this?" And it was a spider with a little white hourglass on its back. And I said, let's put that in a jar. And it hadn't bit her or anything.
Wow.
And we got it into the jar, and the next morning there were about 1,000 baby black widow spiders in the jar.
Oh, my goodness.
Evidently the mother was not feeling like biting anything. She was ready to give birth, and so she gave birth all right. But my students frequently did exciting things. We did learn to milk rattlesnakes, and that's one of the things Sweetwater is famous for. And so, and it's amazing when you're holding the head of the snake, and and they're live.
Oh,
they
my
are live.
goodness.
And so you actually have to put the teeth of the snake on the edge of the jar and then pull back, and it will release the venom into the jar. And then you let go of the snake real fast. But so Sweetwater was interesting, was a fascinating place
Some
to
churches
live.
use those snakes, by the way.
Yeah, they do. Only I don't think they use rattlesnakes.
Yeah.
I hope they don't use rattlesnakes. But my sister and I had been living together out at Avenger Field, which I hear they have made into a beautiful new facility. They've turned it into a museum for the WASPs.
Wow.
For the Women's Auxiliary Service
Oh, yeah,
pilots.
yeah.
And I'm so pleased. Thank goodness history has won again. And so then my sister got married, and I couldn't afford the house on my own. So I went to my principal and I said, "Hey, I can't afford the house." And he said, "Get a second job. All teachers have them." And I said, "Thank you. I'm going to Lubbock." And so I went up to Texas Tech and started a degree in architectural preservation.
Goodness, wow.
And I loved the construction, and it was fun. But they never actually took us across the street to see the museum. And they actually have a beautiful series of homes, of beautiful historic homes, and they never took us there.
Oh.
And so then when I finished, there weren't any jobs in historic preservation at that point. And so I was offered a fellowship at the University of Texas in Austin. And so me and my little dog moved to Austin, and I finished my degree under the great Nettie Lee Benson. And she was the one that got me started on Mexican Texas. And so I went back to history, and I taught on the college level for a while. And then I was offered, thanks to Greg Cantrell, he was a professor here, and he offered me a job here at Sam Houston, and I've been here since 1992.
Wow.
And, of course, my students called me the Crimm Reaper for a very good reason.
Can we get a Rick Boehning real quick laugh on that? Hold on here. Listen in the background. Here we go. The Crimm Reaper.
I didn't realize that my students had taken my name and converted it.
The Crimm Reaper.
But I had gone into a bookstore to ask, if my books were in, and they said, "Oh, you're the Crimm Reaper." And I said, "The what?" And so, yeah, my students didn't like having to write their dilemmas. They wrote 2-page dilemmas. And so that was entertaining.
Yeah.
But I think the thing that was a challenge for them was not just the writing of the paper, but you had to get up in front of a 200-student auditorium and read your paper. And so I think that was where the Crimm Reaper came from. But my students, we actually began moving buildings. I decided, dadgummit, they're going to learn how to move buildings. And so we did. We were offered one of the little cabins. And so one summer, I had a graduate class in Texas history and an undergraduate class. And so we all went out there. And actually, I had the oldest student, 81 years old.
Wow.
In one of my classes, and she came out there with the rest of them, and we moved that cabin. And as a matter of fact, we're working on a rewrite of the Cabin Fever book, so that'll be coming out soon. As a matter of fact, if any of you are writing stories about Huntsville, the Texas Review Press at Sam Houston State University now has a historic Huntsville series, and they need books. So if anybody has books, please let me know, because we want to get some more publications about Huntsville.
Yeah.
It has so many wonderful stories. And so we are doing those series. But my students learned to hew logs. They learned, and they didn't hurt themselves, amazingly enough. They learned to use draw knives. They learned to build a log cabin. And so that cabin was at one time here on the main square just down the street, but now, of course, it is back on the museum grounds, thanks to Mac Woodward.
Yeah. Wow.
And so after I retired from Sam, I decided to start my tour business because I love sharing the history. I love telling the stories. And on Sunday afternoons, we do the Haunted Huntsville on Friday evening. So if you want to take a tour, Haunted Huntsville, just check out our website, Historic Tours of Texas. We do haunted tours. Actually, we can do them any night you like, but Friday night is always good. And then Sunday afternoons after church, we do the
Huntsville tours, correct?
The Huntsville tours. And so especially for new people that don't know Huntsville, it's always fascinating. And I've taken people that are natives, people that have lived here all their lives, and they learn stuff that they didn't know. They didn't know about the Beat Ice Indians. They didn't know about Sally Gibbs. They didn't know. And so this is what I love about sharing the history. And like you say, it's
a passion. Yes,
it's a passion.
How many years were you at Sam Houston? Because I know retired a while back, but how many years was it at
20
Sam?
years.
20 years.
20 years,
Wow.
yeah. I'm a professor emeritus, and that was thanks to Jim Olson, my beloved Jim Olson. He was my boss for many years. But that's one of the things that I love.
So we are back, Dr. Crimm, right back at you. So sorry about that. It's never happened before live. It's happened before the show and after the show, but we are back.
Okay.
It's not very,
all right.
not
well,
very,
good.
not very optimum internet this morning. So
That's okay.
But continue on, Dr. Crimm. Sorry about that.
Well,
quick
it was
outage.
so nice. That's one of the things that I enjoy is taking people like Kaye and Rick on these tours. And Kaye remembers the Comforting Christ, which is a beautiful, beautiful statue that is in the Powell Sanctuary. And it was their little son, Raleigh Powell, had passed away, and so the family had ordered the statue of the Comforting Christ. They call it the Black Jesus because it is out of bronze and it has turned black, but it is beautiful, beautiful figure. And so this is, again, one of the things that you get to see in the tour of Huntsville. Huntsville has such a wonderful history. It really does. The fact that we literally came within 1 or 2 votes of becoming the capital of Texas. We could have been
Not
Austin.
many people knew that either.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's crazy to think about that.
And it was because we had so many universities and so many schools. We had the female academy up where the middle school is today. That was the female academy, and of course Sam Houston was the men's school, and so never the twain shall meet, but you know how young people are. As a matter of fact, I think the Gatners, Jim and Nancy Gatner, met here, and then when he came back as president of the university, Nancy and Jim have both been such a contribution to the university and to the community. And so it's just the university is such a wonderful source of creating a community for all of us. And admittedly, TDC is a strong part of the community.
Absolutely.
My husband was with TDC, but that's the thing. You have both, and so you have these communities that can come together. But I do want to share the history of Huntsville, and then
your tours.
And
yeah, talk about
we
the
also
tours.
well
The other tours that you have.
the other tours. We are going to be doing on June 8th next week. We're going to be doing the Antique Rose Emporium, which is in Independence, and that was Margaret Lee Houston's home, and she had taken the kids there after the end of the Civil War. And then we're going to be on June 15th. We're doing the Galveston Bryan Symposium. J.P. Bryan is they're opening a new exhibit at the Bryan Museum. The Bryan Museum is not in Bryan. The Bryan Museum is actually in Galveston. And J.P. Bryan took the beautiful old orphans home and has restored it and renovated it, and it is gorgeous. And so they're doing a new exhibit there. And then on Juneteenth, of course, we're doing the African American tour. Huntsville has an amazing African American history, and so this is again something Joshua Houston and his son Samuel Walker Houston, the Cultural Center today is a wonderful place to see the history of African Americans in Huntsville. And so we'll look at the drag, we'll look at Joshua Houston's home, we'll look at the Joshua Jr.'s home, which Mac Woodward and the foundation has restored and renovated. Wow, yeah. And it's available for rent. And so there's so much history here in Huntsville. But then we're also going to be doing, one of the things that I love is the Palestine to Rusk train. So we'll be doing that. And then we're doing the Camino Real. One of the things that people tend to forget is that the first missions in Texas were not in San Antonio or Goliad or Victoria. They were right here on Highway 21. Highway 21 is the old Camino Real, the Royal Road. And it ran from Louisiana, New Orleans actually, all the way down through Mexico to Mexico City.
Wow, didn't know that.
So yeah, in San Francisco de los Tejas, the mission was actually set up to reach to the Caddo Mounds. And they have just finished redoing the beautiful Caddo home, I guess. It is a home. And they have just finished redoing it. It was destroyed by a hurricane some 3 years ago, literally the day after we had just taken a group there. And so now they'll have the beautiful, and it's made just exactly the way the Caddo Indians did it. And so by going to the mission and then to the Caddo Mounds. You get to see the connection between the two. And we always take you to lunch, of course. So we get to go to Alto for lunch. So there's, and then, of course, in October, we're going to be doing the Tyler Rose Festival. And you'll get to see the Rose Queen Parade, which is going to be gorgeous. And so those are all one-day tours, so they're easy to do. You don't have to pack anything. But then we have multi-day tours. One of the ones that I particularly want to do is the play Texas, which is we're going to fly to Amarillo. And Rick has been to it, and it is stupendous.
Oh, cool.
You all have been to it.
It's amazing.
And they do it in the canyon, and they have horses, and they have cattle, and they have, and so
like
you
Paladura Canyon?
in Paladura Canyon.
I mean, Paladura Canyon is the second largest canyon in the United States, but you can drive down into it, and you're just driving along, and then all of a sudden you can drive down this big chasm, and it's amazing because I always think back of, when you're in the Old West and stuff, and you're going along with your horse and your wagon or whatever, and then you come to this
whoops.
My sister went to school at West Texas A&M, and they're in Canyon, Texas. And I don't say this disrespectfully, because the Paladura Canyon is absolutely beautiful. I remember going there. My dad was there with us, my sister, my mom. But it was the worst song that I ever heard in my life in that gift store. And someone had wrote a song that goes, "Let's go to Paladura Canyon," and it just kept saying that over and over. I did want to get that off my chest this morning.
Do you go to
I
the
do want to
Plains-
take people.
Do you go to the Plains Museum?
And the
one?
Plains Museum.
Do you go to the Plains
Absolutely.
Museum? That is a very, very cool museum. I mean, Rick and I have been through it I don't know how many times, and each time we go, we spend 2 or 3, 4 hours.
Yeah, it's wonderful. It's wonderful. But that's the thing, sharing these places, taking people there and giving them a chance to see these wonderful, wonderful things. And so the play is just one of the things that we'll be doing. And we're just going to fly up there, spend the night, and then see the play. And so that'll be good.
Cool.
So
a lot of them, all these events. I mean, so much going on. You can go to Dr. Crimm's website at Historic Tours of Texas. You can even book the tours right there on the website, pay for them, very reasonably priced. And she has so much fun on the Joy-Mobile when they take the van out. That's what they call it, the bus. It's a beautiful bus. And Dr. Crimm, I love, we got to wrap up here in just a few moments, but we so appreciate you being here, sharing this today. I had a thought while you were telling about all these different jobs that you had. There may be a new person sliding into this role, Renaissance woman, none other than Dr. Carolina Crimm. I think it's just fascinating how blessed you have been over your illustrious career to see and do so much and provide such a unique perspective. And, there's, and I don't say this disrespectfully, but there's some folks, when they start telling stories, you're kind of like, have you been around that before? With Dr. Crimm, I sit here and listen, and before I know it, we have had an hour conversation, and I just want to hear more and more and more. You do such a wonderful job telling stories in such a lively, interactive way that it makes history fun. The only thing that I can say is I wish I would have had you as a history teacher growing up. No offense to any teachers I had, but
that's what I love is getting to share the history and to have people like Rick and Kaye have gone on the tours, and so they can testify to what is happening.
I wanted to ask this from a dad perspective or a parent's. Are children ever allowed on some of these tours?
Course.
Because I just started thinking I would love to bring the young, my children.
I
almost said kiddos. And
sorry.
The children.
The children.
I almost wanted to bring. Some of them. When you said the train. Bridget and I have always wanted to take Braylon, and now Caden's getting older, on a train ride, and I think that would be great.
Oh, it's a nice train ride. Yeah. It's not too long, and it's very comfortable for young kids. And so, yes, you're absolutely right. And the nice thing about the Joy-Mobile is that kids can play around. They can run up and down and so have a good time.
Yeah.
So, yes, I encourage that.
Love it.
We got to get the kids started early.
That's right. Yes, ma'am. That's what Tomorrow's Promise has got them started early, and you can continue the fun with Historic Tours of Texas. Is there anything else? I know that you went over a lot. I loved hearing your story. There's so much more to talk about. We're going to have you on again, by the way, to continue the discussion. But anything else that you wanted to make sure that you mentioned this morning?
Well, I'm going with Christ the King Methodist Church on a mission trip. But I'm also a member of the First United Methodist because I feel like they're my friends and I want to be with both of them. So I spend part of Sunday at the Christ the King and part of Sunday at First United Methodist. And so I love my friends, and I wish we hadn't separated, but it's good to be with both groups. I love them.
Great.
Love them all.
Kaye, did you have any questions or any final comments for Dr. Crimm?
What are you most thankful for today?
What?
What are you thankful for today?
What am I for my friends, for you all, for Rick and Kaye and Rob, and having Rob back in Huntsville.
I appreciate it.
We really
thankful to be here.
We love having you back.
I said if people would just be mean, we would have never came back. But everybody in Huntsville is just way too nice.
Well, we love having you here, dear.
So we love, we feel the love in this community and from so many, and it's not just me. Anybody can say that. I know Kaye has talked about it too. Even on our intro video, Kaye talks about how she feels welcome here. And I think that's what Huntsville is, and it's so important to have folks like you, Dr. Crimm, to continue to share the story. And I'm just sitting here thinking, has anybody ever sat down and recorded a lot of these stories with you? Have you telling them?
No.
We need to do that sometime.
No.
I think that this is something that needs to be documented, and I'm going to get with you sometime because I would love to have like an audio format of something of you sharing different stories that we can. I think people would just be so intrigued to continue that.
That's one of the things that I found out, that you're supposed to have blogs and podcasts on your website, and so I'm supposed to be doing this. So I will have to do it one of these days.
Well, we're getting our new studio built here in town, and once we get that thing wrapped up, we'll have you come out and record
Where's
some
that
stuff sometime. We're going to have it over at First Baptist. So we're building a new radio studio. We're bringing a Christian radio station here to Huntsville. And so we're building a studio there at the church, and so we'll have some, and it's a great opportunity for the community to come in and share stories, and I think this is going to be perfect with kind of some of that mission. So
absolutely
awesome. Well, thank you, Dr. Crimm. So nice to have you.
Thank you,
so
darling.
Wonderful. So it is the Storyteller of Huntsville. Next time you're on, we'll have an official certificate. We'll have trumpets marching. Drums.
Oh, you already had the trumpets.
Yeah, we'll have
that was pretty good.
We'll have one that sounds better. So
yeah, his ADD will kick in. It won't happen. Or he'll get back and have the excuse.
That's right.
Oh, the excuse. That's right. We never did the excuses.
It's coming up. It's coming up on the next segment, Back with Rick. So thanks again, Dr. Crimm, for being here.
Thank you. All right.
More information online. Again, go to historictoursoftexas.com. You can book those tours and have a lot of fun. We'll step aside. We'll take a quick break, and we will continue the discussion here as we are on a wonderful Wednesday, brought to you by Tomorrow's Promise. Final opportunity, by the way, to text in that keyword HOPE. We're giving away a big old box of 0 Degree Creations, freeze-dried Skittles. Oh, man, they're good. Dr. Crimm, she said those are good.
They are good. They are good.
All you got to do is text in the keyword HOPE along with your name, 936-339-0139. We'll take a brief break. We'll be back in a moment. Stay with us. More to come here. It's your show. Good Morning Huntsville.
Again, Tomorrow's Promise is excited to announce our third location to better serve the families of Walker County and surrounding areas. At Tomorrow's Promise, we are more than just childcare. We pride ourselves on partnering with parents and creating a place where every child is respected, loved, and nurtured in the highest quality environment. See what makes us the perfect fit for your child and their needs. Schedule a tour and learn more about Montessori.
Tomorrow's Promise Academy on Veterans Memorial now open. Visit tpms.live for more information. Education you can trust.
Hey, I'm Denise Olivas, Business Account Specialist at Walker County Federal Credit Union. One of the best things I hear from our members is how they love being treated like they're important, like their family. Sure, our members love things like low rates on loans too, but combine that with the friendliest and most helpful service in town, and you've got Walker County Federal, taking care of our members. It's what we do. We are Walker County Federal Credit Union, member NCUA.
Welcome to Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville, where we've been caring for your furry family members for over 4 decades. Nestled at 877 IH 45 South, our kennel is a perfect retreat for your pet. With a climate-controlled facility, spacious exercise yards, we ensure a comfortable and enjoyable stay. At Magnolia Kennel, we offer a range of options including overnight boarding, extended stay boarding, and doggy day out. But that's not all. We also provide additional pampering services like baths and nail care to keep your pets looking and feeling their best. Making a reservation is a breeze at magnoliakennel.com. We take great pride in our dedication to the community, supporting our local fire departments by providing oxygen pet masks. Stay connected and enjoy adorable pet updates by following us on Facebook. Magnolia Kennel of Huntsville is where dogs get to be dogs. Visit us at magnoliakennel.com to book your pet's next stay. We can't wait to meet your 4-legged family members.
Hi, I'm Billy Cawthon, manager of Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home. We know times of loss are tough, and you need a place to feel comfortable and cared for. At Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, we pride ourselves on being with you during those really tough days. You can rest assured that we will be on your side and by your side every step of the way. Thank you for your trust. Sam Houston Memorial Funeral Home, supporting families every day, every step.
I'm just waiting on Rick to be like, what, that screamo stuff?
Yeah, I'm too old for that. I'm very old.
Wait, Rick, while this is playing, can you do that, like that woo-ha-ha? Can you do it real quick?
I can.
All right, ready? Here we go. That's like a really aggressive intro rejoin there. It makes me like want to get into the grunge. What was it back in the 90s, the grunge movement, you know, the long hair and the head banging. And
he has a very good evil laugh.
Wow. It's a compliment coming from your wife when she says
Well, hey, welcome back in as we continue on here this morning. We'll wrap up here in just a few moments. Briefly, we're going to get to the excuse. We'll have a couple of them here in a minute. It'll be a fun segment. I do want to remind you tomorrow, please come out and join us. Very important that you come out and be a part of our second annual Rays of Hope fundraiser. This is benefiting 5 area nonprofits, including Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools and the Dolly Parton's Imagination Library, to help with the shipping costs of those books. Safe House, Good Shepherd Mission, HISD Social Services, and Care Center Huntsville. Also 3 families affected by flooding, including the McAdam family, the Smiths, and the Peak family. And what we're asking for, think of things that you put in the pantry that can stay in the pantry for a while, as far as canned goods, non-perishable food items, diapers, especially newborn diapers, and wipes are so important. Those will go to the Care Center. The food will go to Good Shepherd Mission, also to Safe House. Also, any type of women's clothing would be greatly accepted. We'll donate that to Safe House as well on your behalf. And gift cards, any type of cash gift cards, tomfooleries gift cards for the kids for the children at HISD Social Services, movie passes to Cinemark and even our local theater here in Huntsville, wherever you'd like to do those. The Cinemark ones, I love going down there to Conroe to those, but you can get them here locally as well. Any of that and cash donations. And the way that it's going to work tomorrow, it'll be at the HEB parking lot from 7 a.m. to 7 p.m. Donation drive-through. Going to be sunny, warm. And we'll have Sam Houston women's basketball will be there with us from 11 to 1. Also, during that time, we're going to have hot dogs, courtesy of HEB and our friend Zach Berry donating those, and Jason Thompson bringing the grill, so we'll be grilling them up. And we'll be out there all day, so just drive through. Here's what's really cool. Each hour that you come through, so if you come through at the 7 a.m. hour, and say there's 20 people that come through at 7 a.m., if you donate items valued at $20 or more, you're going to automatically get a Rays of Hope t-shirt and a swag bag, which is really cool, filled full of goodies. If you give an actual physical cash donation, whether it's cash or credit card, and we'll have a way to do credit cards or debit cards, that will automatically enter you. Not only will you get the shirt and the swag bag, that'll enter you into an hourly raffle. And so if 20 people come at 7 a.m., guess what? You're one of 20 that could win jewelry valued at up to $300 during that hour. Also, some Bluebell ice cream included in there, a little half gallon, and some other gifts inside of that. That's courtesy of Elliott's Jewelers. You'll also automatically be entered into an overall raffle for diamond earrings valued at $900. Elliott wanted to even take it further. And this is Elliott over at Elliott's Jewelers. He said, you know what, let's throw in a pair of $1,500 diamond earrings. And so If you decide to donate $30 or more, you will be entered into all that other raffle plus a chance to win the $1,500 diamond earrings. And so we're not going to put names back in. Once we draw them, you're out. But it's an opportunity to win some really great gifts from Elliott's Jewelers, also to receive information about area businesses and organizations. And we just want you to come out. It's a lot of fun. And most importantly, it's given back to these organizations. And so we're looking forward to it. Last year we did it at the end of July. This year we had some feedback from last year. We listened, and they said, why don't you have it at the beginning of summer instead of the end of summer? So we're going to go ahead and get it knocked out and be able to bless these businesses, these organizations. The reason that we wanted to do it is because a lot of focus, which is important, is on the Christmas holiday season. And so a lot of these organizations, as you guys know, kind of get left out during the summer months. Children are gone. Children are gone.
They're not gone from us.
not gone from tomorrow's promise. But, families are on vacation or things are happening. And so sometimes it kind of gets lost. Everybody does their own thing. We said, let's bring awareness to great organizations during those summer months as well. And that's just our way. I always feel like in business, any business that you're a part of, I feel like you have to find a way to give back at some area. And that's what we want to do. So this is kind of our event, but for the community, and we're thankful to do it.
Yeah, I have new numbers today.
For the library, yes.
We've this year, for 2024, we've sent out 7,124 books.
Wow.
So far. In total, we've sent out 45,900 books.
Goodness gracious.
So
closing in on that 50,000 book mark.
Yeah, and how many years has it been?
We started in September of 2018.
Wow, that is just incredible. Think about that. 2018, we're 6 years into this, and that almost 50,000 books coming up. 5 years into it, and almost 50,000 books. Wow. It costs money to ship those books. That's why we have these events.
It does. I can't afford to do it.
We'll talk more in the next weeks leading up to Lasso Your Imagination as well. It's the other fundraiser by Tomorrow's Promise. They're a 501c3 nonprofit. Those funds raised go to pay for the shipping cost of those books. Hey, Big Bird's walking by. Just kidding. Someone in a poncho there in the background. All right. Real quick, Kaye. You have some Wednesday wisdom for us as well. Let's do that, and then we'll do the excuses. I think it'll tie in wonderfully. What do you think, Kaye?
I think it will.
All right. What do you have for us today, Kaye?
Okay. Well, you tend to start the shows sometimes a little late.
Well, don't put this on me. Hold on. No.
And I keep hearing you be in bed. And there's a blame, excuse, or denial.
Now, let's wait real quick.
So,
it's not me physically in bed.
It's an acronym. It's an acronym, but people tend to be in bed. And kind of, it's almost like in bed because you're just kind of not doing anything. Mm-hmm. And so kind of you're being a victim. And, oh, woe is me, but there's always some reason. You're either blaming somebody else.
Kid had a blowout, you're right.
You're making an excuse for why you didn't do something, or you're just in denial that I'm not responsible for that kind of thing. And so what you need to do is get out of bed, pick up an oar, change your mentality to be a victor. I'm going to take ownership of what I'm doing. I'm going to be accountable for what I'm doing, and I'm going to be responsible for what I'm doing. So the acronym is you can either be in bed or pick up your oar and do something.
Wow. Man, and this is what I love about Kaye is Kaye will let me know, like, hey, here's what we need to do. Here's what I think. Kaye gives me a lot of really valuable insight, and you're exactly right. And I love this because it says victor when you're above the line, or an or, which is ownership, accountability, and responsibility. And what do I say on Spirit Radio FM? We have a sweeper on there in between the music that says you're a victor, not a victim.
Yeah.
So
it ties in.
And then here's bed, which is blame, excuses, denial, put you below the line, and that's a victim. I think that's so good this morning. I like what our pastor said one time. He said, it's kind of like that look in the mirror acronym. It's when you have a team that you've built too, but there's an issue that goes on. Are you looking through an open window, or do you need to look in the mirror? And I think so many times we just need to look in the mirror because we need to own our mistakes and what we're doing. And I love this. So, Kaye, you're slowly building my foundation more and more each day, which is great. With that being said, that's your Wednesday Wisdom brought to you by Kaye Boehning, Tomorrow's Promise Montessori Schools. We have some scenarios where I was joking around earlier. Rick Warren had a book called The Purpose-Driven Life. And I said, well, man, Rick and I are going to come up with the excuse-driven life.
That's right.
So Kaye is going to come up with scenarios, and Rick and I are going to give a couple of excuses to these scenarios. So Kaye, I'll let you start the scenario, and Rick, you can come up with the first excuse.
Sure.
Oh, well, I was going to start with you. With why does the show never start? Why does the show only start at 7:30 on time on Wednesdays?
Well, that's because Kaye's here, and you have to be on time with Kaye. Most of the time, some weird excuse. Baby had a blowout yesterday.
Yeah.
As we were about to leave the door. That requires washing the baby, so that's the excuse.
Do you just dip it in the sink?
Literally, no. We had the bath going. Bridget was lazy. Okay. Next scenario. This one's for Rick.
Oh my.
You said something about a wife and chores a while ago, right?
Yeah. I generally do the chores.
Yeah, he does. So this one's hard because
I'm a perfect husband. See that look?
You're close.
I'm close?
You're close.
What does that mean exactly?
You're not there yet.
Man,
you don't have any room to talk.
Your best one is you don't have to keep reminding me. I'll do it in
6 months.
Yeah.
Don't have to tell me every 6 months. It will get done.
So I guess maybe why haven't the cars gotten washed?
I had this really bad childhood. And I was in a car once. We had a wreck. I'm scared of cars now.
Oh, okay. So I could sell the all the 10 cars.
Sure, you go right ahead.
Man, I'm starting to feel a little verbal keto kicking in here too. You know?
I know she won't do it.
Here's the scenario, Rick. We're just going to make up one, okay? And then you just come back with an excuse. All right. Man, the candy just didn't get freeze dried. It was still soggy.
That's because somebody put wet trays in there. Wasn't me. Because took me a long time to get that thing open.
And truthfully, running a business with as many employees as we've had, I've heard quite a few excuses as to why they're not on time.
Best one that I ever heard. This was classic. It goes down. When I had my IT company early on, we were open from 10 to 7. We changed the hours where we were open from 8 to 6, but 10 to 7 because most people would. It was either during the working day they needed their computer fixed, businesses, and then in the evenings, residential clients could come in after they get off work. So it worked out really well. Best excuse I ever had. I had some of the greatest employees, by the way. Those guys, really carried my business, and I give them all the thanks for all their hard work. But one of the greatest excuses I ever had, how do you get to work late at 10 a.m., right? It's you're young, whatever.
Ask the grandchildren?
Yeah, our grandchildren.
Best excuse I ever had. Young man comes in late. It's like 10:30. He's supposed to be there at 10. I said, dude, it's 10:30. What's going on? Oh, man, I didn't get the laundry done last night.
So you had to do laundry to come to work.
And he said there was a line at the laundry room because he had 2 roommates, and the roommates, they had put their clothes in first. Excuse-driven life.
We need to start writing that book.
Another good one. We had an ice storm. How many know that when we have ice storms around here, everything shuts down? And I understand people are trying to be overly cautious. Had an employee once, lived in Round Rock. We were in Georgetown. Said he couldn't get to work. There was too much ice. I said, wait right there. I'll be there to pick you up. I have a 4-wheel drive Jeep. I rode to his apartment, picked him up. No ice. It was only on his car. He wasn't very happy, but, went out of my way. Excuse-driven life, right?
That's right.
Let's just say a month later, he quit working for us. Another one. These are all work-related. Excuse-driven life. Hired a new guy. Thought he was going to be great. He's a military guy. You would think military, great training, right?
Yeah.
Just aced the interview. The first couple of days we had him on the awesome guy. Went through a week. He was doing wonderful. We trusted him. Gave him the keys to our van. We had a van and a truck. We gave him the keys to the van. We said, take this thing, go on the calls. I get a call Monday morning. Hey, so-and-so's not here. I thought he was supposed to be here to work on our systems. Never got a hold of him. Throughout the day, I said, I don't know. This guy, something must have happened. The van, he had parked the van at night. The van, ended up in our parking. I said, well, the van's here, so something's going on. Could never get a hold of him. Finally get a call that afternoon at 4:30. Hey, Rob, sorry, I forgot to tell you I took another job. Excuse-driven life.
Yeah, that's a great one.
Another great one. One more. It's all work-related for me. It was fun. We had a guy one time another employee that we had interviewed, he lived in California, wanted to move all the way. I'd like to come and take a tour of your facility. Well, our facility was like 1,200 square feet. Ended up moving to work with us. Same scenario. One day just didn't show up after 2 weeks. Moved to the area to come work for us. We paid him a good salary. Didn't show up after 2 weeks. And it said, sorry, I had a change of the children and who's taking care of the children now. Excuse-driven life.
Yeah.
So there you go. Think of those today and turn it around. Get out of bed, use your oar.
That's right.
There you go.
Not on your wife's head either.
Oh, I've done that before.
All right. Well, let's head over to our 0 Degree phone and text line. We do have a winner today of these awesome freeze-dried Skittles that you're not going to get anywhere else except Zero. How about this? 0 Degree Creations phone and text line and the 0 Degree candy going out the door today. Somebody's going to win it. And let's connect the interwebs together here. There we go. Rick, you want to take this?
Oh, no, you go right ahead. I feel like you're on a roll.
Can you sing the song? The Candyman can.
I cannot sing that.
Candyman can.
May not enter. Maybe they've seen the show.
Maybe they didn't want the candy.
Could be.
Hello? Hello? Oh, do we have someone that answered the phone today? Let me call you back. You're cutting out. Yeah, can't hear you. Let's call this person back. While we're doing it, we'll queue up the Candyman can. Just for you, Rick.
For me, I feel so special.
Let's try this again here and see if... oh, goodness, that was loud.
You are special.
Little yellow bit
Hello?
special.
All right. Well, their phone's not working, but I'm not going to... Boy, this thing... You see my computer going crazy? Look at this.
It's just going nuts.
What in the world? All right, I'm not going to discredit this person because their phone's not
try it
working.
again.
We'll try one more time, but I'm not going to... we're going to give them the prize regardless because it's not fair that their phone's not... I mean, it's not their problem. They are answering.
Hi, I'm not available to take your call.
Yeah, see, they're having a connection issue. The winner today, L. Turpinning out of New Waverly, Texas, is our winner today. So we got some candy coming your way. We'll text you, and we'll have that. You can pick it up at First Baptist Monday through Thursday from 9 to 2. And congratulations, L. Turpinning. You are the winner today. I'm not going to discredit somebody because the phone was not working. The phone's not working. They did answer the phone.
It may be the weather.
Rick,
Sir.
I did want to send something. Let's see if this works this time, real quick. I know we got to get rolling. Y'all going to do a Cafe Texan bacon morning today?
No.
No bacon today?
I have to go to the candy cave and work.
No.
I do.
All right. Well, L. Turpinning said she could hear us, but we got candy coming your way. And sorry, I don't know what was happening there, but she, look, sounds like an excuse there, guys. Ties in perfect. Oh! Look, here we go. Here we go. Hello.
I could hear you. You couldn't hear me.
Oh, there we go. L. Turpinning joining us this
Now
morning.
we've got it.
Congratulations. How are things in New Waverly, Texas? Y'all getting some rain this morning?
We sure did. We got a downpour again.
Well, are you excited about these freeze-dried Skittles?
I know somebody sure is.
Okay. Well, who is that somebody possibly? Can you tell us?
Larry Harris.
Oh, Larry Harris. We're going to pass him on to...
He loves those things.
Well, Brother Harris, do you know Larry?
Mm-hmm.
I don't know Larry either, so we're excited. Well, you can come by. Are you okay with coming by First Baptist Monday through Thursday, 9 to 2? Is that okay? Will that work for you?
Yeah, I'll be back in town next week.
Perfect. We'll have them. They may be half eaten by then, but we'll have them there for you. Don't.
You are
That'd be 4 Skittles.
You are trusting Rob with them, so.
Yeah, don't worry.
I
use hand sanitizer before I put my tongue in there, so don't worry. Oh, goodness. Well, hey, Al Turpinning, good to hear from you. We appreciate you so much. I know that you've texted in and won a few times here on the show, but our friend Kaye from Tomorrow's Promise is here, and she's got a question for you.
What are you thankful for today?
Oh, I'm just so thankful that everybody that has been suffering, and we made it through everything. And I know it's been a while, but I just keep thinking about all the ones that are going through so much.
Yeah, well, that's great. Well, we appreciate you, and we are so excited. By the way, Tara Burnett said, "Oh yeah, I know Larry. Of course, I know Larry. He came on the show before."
Yeah, he did.
Yes,
He did.
Larry said.
With Jack.
He said he is with the VFW. And Tara said he's the raffle king. So there you go.
Then I have met him.
Yeah,
He's a salesman.
I know Larry. Yes, I'm so sorry. He came on the show
No
before.
problem. And
All
we're
right.
praying for you, Rob.
Well, thank you. We appreciate you guys. Love y'all very much, and God bless you. Have a great day. Okay.
Y'all too.
All right. Bye bye.
Blessings.
There you go. Larry Harris gonna get some Skittles. Come on.
There you go.
And you may have a new venue over there at the VF. You know, you may be able to start selling Skittles at the VF, man.
That's always possible.
Or Zittles. I'm sorry, Zittles. You may. These are officially called Zittles now, by the way.
That's right.
And not Zit, like Zit, but Zittles.
Ziddles.
Zittles. Kaye, anything else going on we want to touch base on before we go today? It's been a fun show. I know we've been a little long today, but it's been fun. It's been well worth it for sure.
Just have a blessed day.
Have a blessed day. And Rick Boehning, your hat today says, "I'm only here to establish my alibi."
That's exactly why I'm here.
Well, we'll be back at it tomorrow live from Raise a Hope. So, again.
And we'll be there. Well, I'll be there at some point. I don't know if Kaye's going to be able to get off.
Well, come on down. It'll be a lot of fun. And we will have the show live tomorrow as we will be on site. We'll still do the show, maybe an abbreviated version, but we will have the show as we will talk about the great things happening. We want you to come out. Please be a part of this event as we help give back to the community. It's our second annual Raise of Hope, and I'm sure that Advantage Specialties has our shirts ready because we ordered those, and I know Melissa and we ordered those last week. They've been working on them. So we'll have our shirts. We'll have a lot of great things to give back to the community. Excited about it.
I am too.
All right. Appreciate y'all.
Looking forward to it.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you.
Appreciate you. All right, that'll wrap it up. Hey, my sis is joining us. Love you, sis. Rebecca's on with us. I did real quick. I know I'm bouncing around. Adrian Hunter, good morning to you. Kyle Kreiner was in studio. I don't ever want to just forget our friends. Jennifer Augustinetti, appreciate you. She said just prayers for my family. And then she says my children's fathers rushed to the ER yesterday, unresponsive, still on event. Please keep us in your prayers as well. We will, Jennifer. I'm so sorry to hear that this morning. But we appreciate you so much, and definitely will be praying for your children's father. Grandmother of Huntsville, Carolyn Gibson, on with us. Kyle Kreiner, by the way, we didn't get this with Dr. Crimm, but Kyle said you had that 80-year-old heavy lifting. You know, whenever he's talking about moving this building, I love that. And Mayor Humphrey joining us. Good morning, Russell, saying, let's go Huntsville. Many others as well. So we appreciate all of you. We'll be back at it tomorrow at 7:30, but Raise a Hope gets underway at 7 a.m. So come on out to the HEB parking lot, and please join us as we would love to have you. That'll wrap it up as I end every show reminding you this morning that we're not strong enough alone to make it on our own. We really do need each other. So please, Huntsville, provide a word of encouragement. Lend a hand of support. Especially tomorrow. Come out tomorrow, and you'll have a lot of opportunities to lend a hand of support. We'll see you tomorrow morning, 7:30. Until then, good morning, and God bless you. We'll see you later. Bye, Rick and Kaye.
Bye, Rob. Bye, Huntsville.